Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, everybody! This is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you in the month of December, since it is Christmas time and the holiday time, about Xena Warrior Princess Season 2, A Solstice Carol. I love Xena Warrior Princess. It is one of my all-time favorite great shows that I grew up watching as a kid and a teenager. This actually first came out. Actually, tell you the truth, I wasn't even a kid. I was a teenager. I remember this came out in middle school because I was so excited because I heard that Xena was getting like a spinoff from the Hercules show. And I told this one dude that I was friends with in middle school, but he didn't care. But yeah, I really love Xena. I own like 3 out of like 5 of the DVDs, and it's just an all-around great series. And now people can watch it for free on the Roku channel, on Sci-Fi streaming service, and probably Hulu and stuff. And so, like with this episode, this is more one of those whimsical comedic episodes. I really don't like the comedic episodes at all. I like the more drama, action-packed ones. This one actually really doesn't have no action in it, which really bugs me. And like, it's just like, cause it's a Christmas story and everything. And so one thing Xena's known for is recreating stuff. They recreated the birth of Christ. And then this one they recreated Christmas and everything. And so back in them older days they used to call Christmas solstice and stuff. And I'm actually surprised that they went the Christmas Santa route because, they're in Greece, which is in Italy, and they're known for like having La Befana be the one who delivers presents for like the holidays time. But I don't know when the legend of La Befana started. So since this is back in the Greek days, it probably wasn't that far back. Oh no, wait, probably it was, cause I don't know, I really don't know, but so yeah, they pretty much just recreate the movie A Christmas Carol, where this king is like so grumpy and angry around solstice time that he forbids like solstice to be like shown in any kind of manner in his like city and stuff. And if you break his rule, you get like arrested and crap. And so like, and they do actually a pretty interesting job to do the whole Christmas Carol back in like the Greek days. Like I will say this, even though it's not one of my favorite episodes, it did come together pretty nicely and stuff. So basically there's this king, I forget his name, but he's being his grumpy self, and he's having somebody get arrested. I think they were celebrating solstice, and he has this like scribe, and the scribe is named Santacles or Santacles, something like that. You can kind of guess where the name comes from. Santacles, Santa Claus, you know what I'm saying? And he's even a jolly big man with long, shaggy, grayish hair, but he has no beard. And he's nice, and he hates seeing how the king treats people and stuff. And so one thing the king also does is that he evicts people who can't pay like their taxes and stuff, and that leads him to this orphanage. So in a way, Gabrielle and Xena, they're walking through the market, and this boy steals like Xena's chakram. Boy, I love Xena's chakram so much. When they had that thing on the show, I was like, whoa, dude, that thing was awesome. But it's funny because I think it's a Australian like fighting hunting weapon and stuff that they use it to hunt. And so the show uses it more like a batarang type thing. And so what is it? So like after the boy like steals Xena's chakram, she like chases after him and leads them to the orphanage. He used her chakram as like a star ornament for the top of their Christmas tree, or a solstice tree, I should say. And so he didn't even know like it was a weapon. Well, of course the guards come in because they're supposed to evict the orphanage people. And so Santacles is with them. Now this is when okay, there is action, just not the way I would hope. It's silly, goofy action. Basically, the shotgun is still tied to a bunch of ribbons. She throws it and then wraps them up. She puts them in the cellar, and then they talk to the lady who owns the orphanage, and they ask what's going on with Centicles. They spared him because he was just so nice and stuff. So he basically tells them straight up the king forbids this and that because, during the solstice time, because his wife's been gone for like 30 years and he's so sad and grumpy that she left during he's no longer with her on what happened on solstice day. So Xena decides she's gonna talk to him, but Gabrielle doesn't want Xena like to bust heads, right? So Xena comes up with a way. So when she sneaks into his place, she tells him straight up in her own form that he needs to like lighten up and everything. But he doesn't want to, and he calls the guards. So basically, Xena and Gabrielle devised a plan. They're gonna do like, of course, the Crow Christmas Carol thing. So Centicles is gonna help. So Xena, she dresses as two of the Fates. The first one's named Calotho and everything, and she's talking in her regular voice, and she's supposed to be like the fate of like the past or something, the spirit of the past or something like that. And so she takes him into like a storage room where he's gathered all the solstice stuff he's collected in town that's been like has dust and cobwebs on it, and a portrait of like him and his wife. And so they have Gabrielle dressed as like his wife, but in faraway distance. And they use some really cool practical effects. Like they have an hourglass on like a stick and they twirl it around, make it look like it's floating in the air. And Gabrielle's attached to like a rope. And oh, Gabrielle has a donkey in this episode because she saw it was about to get killed and she decided to buy it and everything. And now she has a donkey and he only moves if you whistle to him. So Centicles is down below with the donkey holding Gabrielle up on the rope. And then Gabrielle's all like, oh, I'm so sorry I died 30 years ago, blah, blah, pretend to be his wife. And the king's just kind of like, what are you talking about? You didn't die. You just walked off and left me. And so they were shocked and surprised because Centicles told them that the wife lady had died. And so then the guards come by and they whistle, which causes the donkey to like drop Gabrielle. Centicles being scared, he ran. And so Xena gives the dude like a sleeping potion type thing, and then she puts him back in the bed, and then they go talk to Centicles. Now, one interesting thing about Centicles, more on the whole Santa Claus route, is that he makes gifts for like kids, and he used to deliver them and stuff like that. And Gabrielle had one. And it's interesting because that's not the town Gabrielle grew up in. So I don't understand how Centicles made that toy and then got to her. Anyway, so he explains to Gabrielle how he's like a coward, how he's scared, how he doesn't want to get arrested, and how he's afraid of small spaces. And she tells him, the thing you're afraid of, you're actually living in right now. Like you're living in a small space in your mind, being afraid to do this and do that. So then he has like a bunch of toys, and the toys are all old-fashioned looking, but they modern, the way they move and stuff like that. That's one thing that I hate about this show, and they have like modern technology, but dressed back in the old days, So then Xena is the second faith, and she talks to the king, and she's putting on a fake accent, but she only has the fake accent when they're in the bedchamber. She dresses him up in poor people clothes, takes him around the city, and takes him to the orphanage so he can talk to the little orphan kids and stuff. And the one orphan dude who stole her chakram explains that the king is a tyrant and he's a jerk and he doesn't like hearing that because that's him, right? But then the guards show up because they're pissed. And because the guards that was in the cellar, they escaped. And then so they go to attack the place and Xena shuts them out, but they're coming. That's the thing. And when Xena was talking to the guards and the king, she didn't have her regular voice. What happened to her fake voice? I don't understand that. She kept changing in and out. Oh, Lucy. So with the guards coming, Gabrielle decides she's gonna dress Sinterklaas up in disguise so the guards won't notice him. She dresses him up exactly as Santa Claus. This show. Fake beard and everything. And in order for them to get into the orphanage, because they can't go through the front door because of the guards, they go through the chimney. For some bizarre reason, sliding down the chimney, which this chimney, for some reason, is super wide. So after sliding down that, he's all like, wow, what a rush. I love doing that. I'm going to do it every solstice eve. Lord have mercy. Oh boy. And so the guards bust in, and then this is what the part I hate the most. It reminds me of this one episode where Xena fought a bunch of guards off with fish. But this time, instead of fighting the guards off with fish, she's fighting them with Christmas gifts. They're slipping on marbles. They're getting shot by like arrows with suction cups. They're getting what is it? They get like mashed potatoes thrown in their faces. Like all kind of like dumb, silly, stupid stuff. One gets taken out with a candy cane, for crying out loud. But then while this is going on, the king, he was in shock, then passed out, and then he woke back up to see like a hooded figure all in black. It's the lady who owns the place. She won't say nothing, but there's a light casting on her from the outside moon. And this is the part of the dialogue I love the most. The dude who played the king, boy, he did a great job in this monologue. It was just as good as the Christmas Carol. The dude deserves like an award if he's still like alive, you know what I'm saying? And so like after they're done, he comes out and then they all grab stuffed animals and beat the guards with. The guards got swords, for crying out loud, and they're guards, but they're getting beat by Christmas crap. So then they stop, and the king, you know, he talking about how he had a change of heart, and then the lady comes out in the hooded figure, and the lady, it turns out to be his wife, who left him 30 years ago, and then he apologized profusely to her, and she forgives him. Now, what I don't understand is how did Sinterklaas not know who his wife was? The queen. He kept seeing her like in the entire episode. Now, it's possible that she left before he started working there and stuff. So, now that the Christmas, or I should say solstice has been saved, Gabrielle and Xena are on the road and they're talking, and they happen to meet a couple, an interesting couple. It's a man, it's a woman, and the woman has a newborn baby. And they talk about how they're like looking to get into town, and Gabrielle's like, take my donkey because, you know, it'll be a whole lot faster. And then, of course, this is the representation of Joseph and Mary and baby Jesus. And then what's even more on the nose is that after Gabrielle gives him the donkey, the woman said, may God bless you or shine a light on you or something like that. And the baby starts to glow like a shiny light, and nobody noticed that because it's the they're trying to say it's the representation of Christ that was born on Christmas Day, which is solstice day. And what's even more interesting about that, like back in this show, instead of saying God or oh my God or thank God, they will say by the gods with an S at the end of it. And the lady didn't say that. She just said God, which is weird because, see, in Greek mythology, they believed in the many gods and Zeus was the king of the gods. But in the show, they never say God. Like they always say gods with the S at the end, or they'll name the actual Olympian god they're talking about. And this is like the second or the first version of them depicting Christ and everything. And the Virgin, like, Virgin Mary, because, you know, later on in the series, Eve was supposed to be, you know, Eve is Xena's daughter, and she was like, it was so weird and complicated. Basically, Callisto, who was evil, died, became an angel, placed herself in Xena's womb, was reincarnated as Eve. Xena gave like birth to Eve, which is supposed to be like the messenger of Eli, and Eli is supposed to be kind of like God, and so, and then, Eve had like this special power where she could, like, and it was just kind of weird. And they had a depiction of like the devil, in the form of, Dayhawk, and then, his followers. And then next thing you know, they actually show like Lucifer, the angel who turns into the devil, and they just went like wild and crazy with that. And the one true God was known as the God of Eli and stuff like that. From Eli, the character showed up, and they just went buck wild crazy with all that. I'm surprised religious groups didn't get on to them about that and stuff. But all in all, this was like a little fun little Christmas episode. It's not really my fave because I love the action-packed Xena and stuff. But all in all, it was all right, I guess. Bah humbug! That was a good episode. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.